and 2 sons are in a car, but yet there are only 3 people in the car. How is that possible?
So what?
2 fathers and 2 sons are in a car, but yet there are only 3 people in the car. How is that possible? Type your answer into the comments.
You have 2 brothers, 2 sons. And how many? Yeah.
Let's see if you get answers in the comments here. Good job, guys.
Can you repeat the riddle again, please?
Yes. All right. 2 fathers and 2 sons are in a car, but yet there are only 3 people in the car. In a car. How is that possible?
I can't explain that one by typing it. It's kind of confusing to explain it by typing it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you guys like another minute to think about it, and then I'm gonna have someone from the comments explain it out loud.
Okay, because I know how to say it, but I can't type it. It's kind of confusing to type or like write it down.
Right.
Grandpa.
Okay. I'm looking for someone. Blair Ferguson. Do you want to explain it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a grandpa, a dad, so there's 2 dads and 2 sons. One's a grandpa, one's a dad, and one's a son. I don't know how to.
No, that's perfect. Great job. Thank you so much.
I remember one of those riddles from last year's 4-H camp, but they were fishing.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, well, I've got one more riddle for you guys. So same thing, if you want to type your answer into the comments, and then I'll call somebody to share the answer. Ready? What has to be broken before you can use it? What has to be broken before you can use it?
You break an egg and use it. It's an egg. Let's see on chat. What does chat say? No, it's an egg. It's an egg. It's an egg. It's an egg.
All right, so I've got a lot of good answers in the comments here, and I'm realizing that there are 2 good answers, but I only had 1. So Taya Lenz, do you want to explain both of the answers and how they can be correct?
Okay, so a glow stick, you have before you can use it to make it glow, you have to break it. Same thing with an egg. Before you can cook it, you have to break the egg to cook it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I had the egg as my answer, but then you guys' glow sticks answers that made a lot of sense also. So great job, everybody.
I did a riddle last time. Do you want me to share the answers for that one?
I think we're okay. Thank you, though.
No, like we did the riddles last time, and then he said we would share them this time.
We'll do those here in just a little bit, okay?
Oh,
So, yeah, I
okay.
haven't forgotten. We'll make sure to do. We did some yesterday at the end of the day, Amelia. So I told them we'd do the answers today when we started. So, but we'll do that when you're all done.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm done. That's all I've got for today. You guys should have a lot of fun today. They've got a lot of good stuff planned. I'm excited.
Yes, awesome job, guys. Let's give Amelia a round of applause. Woo. So you guys that are, wanting to be counselors someday, like you saw, like Caitlin and Seth and Amelia, Michaela, some of these other guys, you'll meet some more today. If you guys are interested in being a counselor someday, this is what you do. Now, of course, usually we're at camp, but that's something to think about if you want to be a leader someday. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to grow your leadership skills. So, guys, we do have a fun day today. First thing, I know that we raised the flag today, but it was technically already raised because we didn't lower it last night. I forgot to do that. So you guys, I need your help. Can you guys remind me at the end of the day? We got to make sure to lower the flags today. Can you guys help me do that? Remind me, okay? And we do have some riddles that we need to wrap up. I think it was Celia. You had one. Do you want to go?
It's Bailey.
Bailey? Okay, I'm sorry. Never mind. Bailey, did you have a riddle?
I had 2 riddles.
Okay, why don't you tell us your riddle, and then we'll see if anybody thought about it and figured it out.
Do you want them to say it in the comments, or do you want them to unmute and say it?
They can say it in the comments. Let's do that.
Okay, so the first one was, so Celia's mother had 3 children. The first one was named January. The second one was named February. But what was the third child's name?
How'd they do, Bailey?
Can you repeat it again, please?
Yeah. Read the riddle.
Okay, so the riddle is, Celia's mother had 3 children. The first child was named January. The second child was named February. But what was the third child's name?
How'd they do, Bailey?
They did good. I only see one comment that's wrong. Everybody else is saying the correct answer, which is Celia, because I said Celia's mother.
You guys got it. Nice riddle.
Good job. And then the next one is, a mother had 3 children. One was named March, one was named April. What was the third child's name? I'm getting a lot of correct answers. I'm getting some not so correct. Okay. Has everybody answered? Can I see a thumbs up if you've answered?
I think we're pretty good.
Okay. So the correct answer is what? So the child's name was what? And instead of a question, it's a statement saying, what is the third child's name?
Awesome. Good riddle.
Thanks.
Good job. So somebody else had a riddle yesterday, didn't they? And Mr. Grooms, did you or?
I did.
You did? You want to give your riddle and we'll see, type it in the chat box?
Yes. You are stranded on an island. There's another island beside you. You have a boat, a wolf, a chicken, and seeds. How do you get everything over to the other island? But the wolf will eat, if you leave the wolf and the chicken alone, the wolf will eat the chicken. If you leave the chicken and the seeds alone, the chicken will eat the seeds. How do you get everything over to the other island?
Okay. This is kind of a a longer one. So maybe if somebody wants to just say it, that might be a better way.
Can you say it again?
You're stranded on an island and there's another island beside you. The wolf, you are with a wolf, a chicken, and seeds. If you leave the wolf and the chicken alone, the wolf will eat the chicken. If you leave the chicken and the seeds alone, the chicken will eat the seeds. How do you get everything over to the other island?
You eat the wolf. The chicken eat the chicken.
No, you
eats
eat all of them.
Yeah, you eat all of them. So the wolf eats the chicken. The chicken eats the seed. You eat the wolf.
Okay, I think I know it. You take the chicken over, and then you go back to get, and then you go back to get the seeds. But you, and then when you return with the seeds, you take the chicken and put it back on the island, but take the wolf, and then you take the wolf over, and then you take the chicken over.
All right.
That's what I was.
How'd they do? What's the right answer?
You take the chicken over, and then you take the seeds over, and you take the chicken back, and then you take the wolf over, and then you take the chicken over.
Awesome.
Yeah, kind of.
I love it. Good job, guys.
Nobody else.
Okay, so good riddles. And we had another one, but I think the answer was kind of talked about yesterday. So if you guys want to do a riddle, be thinking about a riddle, and we'll take a few. We won't do a ton, but we'll take a few at the end of the day. And you guys can share that with the group, and we'll do the same. All right, so with that being said, it's time to move on to our next part. We have a few announcements, and then we're gonna move on to our first session. So first up today, we have leather working. Bart's gonna be teaching you guys some leather skills. Now, not everybody signed up for leather. I think we had something like 42 or something like that. And we kind of changed how we had to do camp. We were gonna do breakout sessions, but we couldn't do that. So we're sorry, but if you don't have leather in your kit, if you didn't sign up for it, then you have two options. You can just hang out and watch the leather session and just encourage everybody and see what it's like. And you may find an interest in that and want to do it later. Or the second option is that you can go to that YouTube site that we have for all the different projects, and you can work on a project during this time and then meet us back here just a little bit before 11, and we'll do our camp songs and get ready for our next session. The second session of the day, which will start at about 11:15, is going to be no bake cookies with Debbie. And so that'll be a little, I think it's paper bag in your kit. And so that'll be the thing. We can get a nice dessert for your lunch. So that'll be cool. All right. And then at 11, around 11, we're going to have Casey Messner and Caroline Mays. They're going to be doing some songs. There's two of our counselors, and they're going to be leading some songs for you guys. So that's what we have on the agenda for this morning. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, staff, do you have any other announcements before we get started? Any questions, campers or parents? All right. Well, Bart, I think we're ready for you, buddy, if you're ready to get going.
I have a question.
What's that, sir?
Do we need our packets? Like, is all we needed was olive oil?
For the cookies?
No, the leather. I
Oh,
lost my page.
Bart, can you answer that?
I'm muted. Yes, I can answer that question, Sean. The only thing that I needed is just the olive oil. Also, I guess they did need a pair of pliers as well. But yeah, that's the only thing that they needed extra.
And
Have pliers.
What's that? You don't have
You
a pair of pliers?
pliers.
Pliers will make it a lot handy. You really will need a pair of pliers to get started.
Great.
Oh, it says I can't.
So I think you guys know this probably, but if you haven't got your kit out of your bag, this is what it looks like. So this will be what you're using today with Bart's session. So, all right, guys, have fun this morning and learn lots.
All right, can everybody see me? And can everybody hear me? Thumbs up. All right, good deal. Okay.
You're lagging bad on our screen.
I'm lagging bad. Well, see what we can. Well, I'm not sure what we can do about that.
I think we can get it.
Okay, good deal.
Barb,
All righty. Well, yes,
would these pliers work?
they would be.
No, those are-
Well, those are cutters. That would. That's not gonna. I mean, if you're very careful, those might work. But because what you're gonna need, I'll just show you in a second what you need the pliers.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Bart,
Well, today, yes.
I only see a small screen of you. Does everybody else have a big screen?
What you need to do, if you only see a small screen of me, what you need to do is go up into the top right corner on your Zoom and then click speaker view instead of tile view.
You are. Yay, thank you.
Yes, that is what you need to do. Okay.
Will these pliers work?
Yes, those pliers should be perfect.
Will these pliers work? Will these?
Yep, those pliers should work if they will clamp together. All right. Well, today in your bag for the leather session, you have a round disc of leather that has a clover on the front, and you've got holes poked in the leather. That's what we're going to be using to lace this project, and it will look like this when you are finished. Oh, first of all, I'm Bart Scrow. I am the Youth Program Associate in Harrison County, and I have been doing leather for about 5 years. I started at camp the first year I started working at 4-H, and Bob Teagarden showed me the ropes, and I've been doing it ever since, and it has become my own hobby. So like I say, leather's a lot of fun, and I look forward to it.
I don't have oil.
Okay, the oil, it's optional. That's an optional step, and we'll get to that at the end.
Okay.
Okay, so in your baggie that you had that has all your leather supplies, you have this disc, you have your kangaroo lace, and last but not least, you have a leather needle. This is a lace needle, and it is special just for this project. So the first step that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take your needle, and you're going to pull back on the top. And this first time you open in the needle, it's going to be a little stiff, and so you may have to kind of pull hard so that it opens up like this. See? And so then you're going to take your leather lace, the green stuff, pull open your needle, if I can get this all done together, and then you're going to slide that lace in so it catches on those hooks that are in there. And this can be kind of a tricky process.
Can you slow down a little?
Yep, I'd be glad to.
Pull it apart.
All right, and so that it catches here. And this is what you need the pliers for. Once you have that in there, you're going to need to take your pliers and then mash it down just a little bit so that those little hooks in there go into the leather so your needle is nice and tight.
Can you repeat the second step, please?
Okay, the first thing you need to do is open up the needle off your leather, and then slide the lace into the needle, into that opening of the needle that you're going to pull it back. You need to see that
I don't
part
have
again.
the needle. I don't have the needle.
It would have been in your bag with the rest of the leather stuff.
I don't.
This is what the needle looks like.
I do not have that.
You
All I
don't
have
that?
is a Sharpie, leather, and the leather thing.
It's not.
Yes,
There's nothing.
that's all I
There's
have.
nothing else. There's nothing else in the bag.
That's it.
You won't be able to do it.
Well, Go
back and watch YouTube
videos. We'll have to get you one of those needles, and then you'll need to go back and look into the YouTube video.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it how open is it supposed to be? Like this?
Okay. That's very open. You don't try not to bend it back that much, but so yeah, you open it just by pulling it back, and just open it about that much so that you can then slide your lace in there, and it's going to come back together.
Is this supposed to look like this?
No, it needs to come come by the end, just like this. I've got another piece here I'm showing you. Like this.
So it looks like this.
Yeah, it needs to be long ways, and then you're going to have to use your pliers and mash that back flat.
What kind of oil do you use?
Either vegetable oil or olive oil or neat's foot oil, and I'll talk about that, but that's the very last step. So this is what you're wanting it to look like at the end. Now, in the comment section there, in the chat section, I've just put a link to the YouTube channel where I have a video of me doing this whole process, which we recorded a day or two ago. And so if this is going to take you longer than the time that we have allowed, I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize it was going to take so long to lace. It takes me about an hour to lace the whole this whole circle, but I'm going to show you all the whole process, and so that you guys can finish it. And if you need to refer back to any of the steps, they're all going to be on that YouTube video. That there's a link there down in the chat section. Okay, are we ready? Has everyone got their needle lace?
Is this how you do it?
No. I need help.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is really hard. How do you close it?
So I fart.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to go through the little pointy things?
Yes. Now there is a little loop there. You're not sticking your leather through the loop. See, your leather is going to go in between those those two pieces, because you're going to open it up.
Like this far?
Show me.
Can't get it through.
Okay, yeah.
My leather's too big. My leather's too big for it. It won't go in.
You've got to bend it down just a little bit so you can get your leather in like this. See that?
Okay.
So it opens up, and it'll slide in there. I promise you.
See, I'm trying to push it down and it won't do it.
Okay, you need to use your pliers to mash it down.
Oh.
So that it hooks in. So that those little hooks hook into your leather, into the leather, and they'll be in there.
Pliers are way too big. Go. Got it.
There you go. Okay, just
I
bend it.
don't bend it that much.
Cutters are. I need to be real careful with cutters.
Yes, you have to be very, very, very careful with those cutters. Just to squeeze it enough to.
Does this look good?
No, it's got to be long ways. You've got to put your lace in there long ways, so that it's in there, so it's not perpendicular. It goes straight in.
Mine barely goes.
Okay, that's what it kind of needs to be. Just as long as it'll stay tight there.
Yeah.
Will it pull off?
No.
Okay, it's not gonna pull off. Good. All righty. Does anyone have their leather laced in the needle, just like I've got here? Anybody got that ready?
The Harrises have.
Harrises
I cannot get it through the hole.
Well, you're not supposed to get it through the hole.
What am I supposed to do?
Show me what you've got.
I got this. Right there.
Okay.
So
So
what do I
now
do with the
what you need to do is to take your you separated it out like you got
Yeah,
it bent open
I
like
did that.
Okay,
did
now what you need to do is to get your lace in that little opening
Okay.
so that it catches, the rough side of the lace will catch on those two little hooks.
How do you close it back?
That's what the pliers are for. You got to use the pliers to mash that so the hooks will hook into the leather, and then it'll stay tight.
Okay.
Should it be closed?
It does need to be closed.
Okay, mine will not close. I think I opened it way too much.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to go on ahead and start showing the steps on lacing. Yeah.
I did this and the leather went into it.
Okay, that's what it's supposed to be. That's exactly what it's supposed to be.
Very confusing. It won't go in. It won't shut.
You don't have to. Doesn't have to shut as long as the leather gets in the point.
Yeah, that's the main thing. All right. So now here's the next step. This is how we lace. I'm going to go to the lacing step. So take your needle and you're going to put it through one of the holes, doesn't matter which one, push it all the way through. Now, if it's hard to pull, if your needle is hard to pull through the leather, you may need to use your pliers again, because these pliers are a handy tool. You can pull it through the leather a little harder if you're not able to get a good enough hold on it and pull it through. So then once you do that, and by the way, it's got to be face up. It's got to be the rough side is facing you up.
Like this?
Does it have to go completely through?
It does have to go completely through.
It won't go through. It's not like big enough.
Like this?
Yes, that is right.
Okay.
How did he do that? How did he do that? Okay.
I just used my finger and put it through one of the easiest holes.
I broke it.
Like look for an easy open hole.
Does it need to go through the front or the back?
It goes through the side with the clover on it, because you're always going to go through this side. You're never going to come back through the other side.
So Bart, like this?
That looks right. Is that the rough side facing up or the smooth side facing up? Needs to be the rough side facing up. The rough side facing up.
Yeah, the one with the 4-H clover on it?
Yep.
Okay, then that's the one I have it in.
All right, good. Okay, so now you need to pull it.
I'm not ready.
I don't have it.
Okay. Who was that last one that didn't have it?
I think it's Jack. Oh.
I almost got it. I almost got a hole in it. No.
I'm almost there, but it's still not.
Okay.
It's not going all the way through. It's just like stopping. Just like this.
Guys, use your pliers and like hammer it down. Good idea.
That or just use the pliers and pull it through.
I used a book to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like this.
Still not working. Hammer it down as hard as you can.
I'm going to.
Yeah, that's.
Without hitting your finger though, because I just did.
You may need to get some help to pull it through, and you may just have to go back and watch this on YouTube. So okay, so once you've got it, once you have your first, has anyone got it to this point to where they've got the leather pulled through to?
No, I do not.
Okay, but does anyone?
No,
does anyone
Bart,
have it?
you're supposed
Yeah.
to have it bent.
Say that again.
I
You're
got it.
supposed to have it bent.
All right, very good.
Oh.
Okay, you're supposed to pull it on all the way through. So once you get your needle through the hole, and then pull it on all the way through. And so you're going to want to pull it all the way through until you just have this tiny little monkey tail here at the end.
I just broke it.
What did you break?
The silver thing. It come apart.
It came apart.
Yeah, look, the half of it come apart.
Well, that's okay. It's supposed to come apart.
Oh.
So like this?
Yes, just like that. Okay, and then once you've got to that point, you need to fold your little monkey tail, fold it over the back, just like that, and then hold it with your fingers. So you've got it, you're holding that on the back, and so you've got the clover here, and so it's folded over there, like that. See that?
I cannot get it in. I'm stuck.
I just got mine.
Okay, good. All right, and then you need to fold your leather, your lace over the top, and then come down ready. And so every stitch, this is a very important part, every single stitch, you have to make sure that you haven't tangled your leather. And so you have to pull it back straight.
Hey, Bart.
Yes.
We have a couple of kiddos that are confused.
Okay. So I need to know what point they're confused at, where they're at, and what they need to do. So Madeline, what's the issue, or Jack, what's the issues?
Like, I don't know what to do after the monkey tail.
Okay, go back to the monkey tail.
And Bart, Madeline wants to know, do you start from the back?
No, you always start from the front. You're always going to start from the position that where the clover is. So you're going to start with your leather with the rough side up. You're going to go through a hole, and you're going to pull that through until you just have a little tiny bit left at the end. So you're doing good there. All right, and then you have about this much left, and so you're going to take and you're going to fold that over the top towards the back, so that you're holding it there with your finger on the back, and it comes over the top just like this, and you're holding it in the back with your finger. Yep, you got it. You got it.
How do I get it through the hole?
You've got to
Okay,
use your
so-
pliers to pull it through the hole.
Okay, so I got it through the hole, but my leather won't go in.
You've got to you got to pull it really hard. Okay. And so while you're
How do I get it in? Because my thing's in the way.
all right, let me see hold it up so I can see what you've got.
I just poke in the hole.
Do you even have your lace on there?
No.
You're putting it through the opposite end. That's not you're putting it in the back end. That's not the way you've got to get your lace on there.
Okay.
Yeah, the needle is what's pulling it through, and you've got to have your lace on your needle like this. Your lace has to be on the needle like this. That's the only way you're going to get that through.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Now,
I'll
if you've got back to this point with your monkey holding your monkey tail on the back, the next thing you're going to need to do is come back, fold your leather back take your leather back to the front.
just need to poke
And then
this.
you're going to go through the second hole. The second hole on the front side.
Here?
Okay, does everyone see that? You're going to pull that on through the second side. Yeah, got to make sure it's straight. Pull it all the way back to the back so you're sure that it is straight. And then pull it all the way through.
Mine's not coming all the way through. Look, I'm trying.
You've got to pull hard. You have the needle. Use your pliers and pull it through.
And
But all I had, or at least all I found, was cutters.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're not going to be able to do it with cutters.
I mean, I do have pliers somewhere, but I don't know where.
Do it later.
Well, I'm afraid you're going to have to do it later. You're going to have to find some pliers or somebody to help you pull it through and go on later.
Art, someone is asking, do we cross over the monkey tail?
Yes, you do cross over the monkey tail. So when you're done, you will have an X up here on the top. Hope you can see that. There, you can see it better on this side.
I didn't cross over the monkey tail.
Okay, let me see what you got, what it looks like. Where are you at with the, I need to see what. Okay, you need to pull it tight. Okay, I can't see very well what you've got there. I just can't see what that. Okay, you went too far on me there, I think, because what you needed to go through the first hole and then hold down your monkey tail, and then you have to go through the second hole, and so that you have just that little X there like this. So after you've got that, you may have to pull yours on through and start over if you can pull it all the way on through. So after you have that X there in the top, you've got to take your needle, and you're going to then go through the X that you've just made on the top. So like this, and again, you're going to want to make sure that you haven't got a tangle. You haven't tangled up your lace. Sure, that's right. And I have tangled up my lace, so I have to go back and do that again. Needs to go completely under the X, and you have to hold, again, you still have to hold down your monkey tail on the back, and so you've got this. And then pull it on through. All right, so we have that first little knot there. Is anyone still there, or have I lost everybody?
Barb, is this it?
Yeah, that's pretty close. Your knot's down on the back, but see if you can pull your knot up so that it's on the edge instead of on the back.
Is this how I'm supposed to do it? On the...
Who's the person who asked? No, you're just going from one hole to the next there, Grooms. You've got to go through just one hole, and then you've got to cross over through the X in the top. Yeah, it is going to be a bit clearer on the YouTube video if you go and check that out, if you have to go back and look at that again. And so after you've gone through under your X on that first one, you don't have to hold on to the monkey tail anymore. And so you can just let that go.
Bart,
Yep.
somebody, Addie something said, how do you go through the X?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have another one here in a second, and I'll show you. So after you've gone through the X, you go through the next hole. You don't go through the next hole until you've gone through the X. And again, every single stitch, you have to make sure that you haven't tangled up your leather, and I just did again, so I have to start over. Pull it back. Okay. And then you double check to make sure that you didn't tangle it. Well, that might be worse than the last one.
Bart, someone says,
Yeah.
can I see a picture of the finished one?
Sure.
Do you go through the X every time?
Every other time. You see, so once you've gone through the hole, you go through the hole, and so then you go through the X, and then you come back through, and you go through the hole, and then through the X. Every other time, it's through the hole, through the X, through the hole, through the X. And so again, I've made another X here. There we go. And so I'm going to go through my X. See, I've come underneath the X, just like the first one. Come underneath the X. What's your problem?
This. I went to straighten it and popped out. So I need a new kangaroo leather.
That's all the lace you have.
Oh.
So if you broke your lace, you're going to have to relace your needle and see if you've got enough to get finished. Should have.
Okay.
If you haven't made it through there yet.
Okay, that means I'm probably gonna need my dad.
Yeah. Okay, so after you've got this, where'd my needle go? All right. So every other time, it's through the hole, then through the X. So you're going to pull it through that second X we've made. And then tighten it up. And so again, after you've gone through the X, you fold your leather back over, and then you come through the hole again. And so now we have made another X. This is our third X. This is the X is up there on the top. So then we come back over the front. And then you go back under your X with the needle. So there. And then you're going to pull it through after you make sure that you're not tangled or twisted. So once you get this step down, it's the same 2 steps over and over and over until you've filled every single hole all the way around. So it's through the hole, through the X, through the hole, and then under the X, through the hole, under the X, through the hole, under the X. And every stitch, you've got to make sure that you have not got your leather or your lace twisted. And that's a very critical step, or else your lacing will look kind of funny. And not funny like a clown. No, I got that one twisted again. How am I doing on time? I'm up against it. All right. Well, again, you're repeating that same step over and over until you get to the end. So I need to show you, I'm about out of time. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to show you how the finishing step. And again, all of this is on that YouTube video that we've uploaded. And again, if you need to back that video up and look at it and back it up and look at it. And there are also instructions in your packet that you received. And you can follow those instructions as well if that helps you there. So whenever you get to the end, once you've gone all the way through, got everything all the way through and around to the filled your last hole, it's going to look like this. And so what you're going to do on this last part is you're going to take your needle, and you're going to go under that first loop. This is that first loop that you've made. And you're going to go under that first loop, and you're going to pull out that first loop. Pull it out the front. Then you're going to go around behind, and you're going to pull that same one out the back. So that you're coming through here. And then you're going to pull that same loop one more time out the front. And so we have this little loop here on the top that's sticking up, and then you've got this much leather sticking out. Now what I would recommend here, before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to then open up the 2 flaps in your leather like this. Open it up with your needle, or if you have another tool or a screwdriver or something like that might help you there. And then you're going to pull that out from the middle. Now this part is very tricky. This is probably the most tricky part. So you got to pull it out from the inside, pull it out the middle from the inside like this. So, and then what you need to do is once you've done that, you're going to have to cut this.
Try the other ones too. Can you try the other one? Just
cut this. Can you see that? We're testing the lights here. Is this helping any? And then you're gonna
I'll put them back on.
Then you're gonna poke that.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna poke that back down. That didn't really help that much. Poke that back down in here, and then you're never gonna see that one again. So now you've got one hole. You have 2 holes on the front and 1 hole on the back open. So what you're going to do is you're going to then lace that first hole just like you've been lacing the others, all the way around. You're going to go through the hole, And then you've made your X, and then you're going to come through, and then you're going to go through, go under the X. I take it back. You're not going to go through under that X. Sorry, that was my bad. Okay, you're going to go through that hole, and so that now you have one hole on the front. And so you're coming, and you have your needle coming through down back to the back. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to go up through this loop. Then now you're going to go from this loop, you're going to go under the X. Now you're going under the X. Pulling that tight. And then you're going to go down through the loop. Down through the loop. Okay, and then you're going to pull, this is where, then you pull it tight. Be careful not to break your lace, and just, you need to pull this last one over. If you need to adjust your lace a little bit, so you can pull that tight. And then once you pull that tight, you're going to go through that last hole all the way through.
You said it normally takes you an hour to do?
Yep, it takes me about an hour to do this. You come through that last hole, then you take your scissors or your knife and you cut it off right at the bottom, at the back. And then you got your whole project finished. Almost finished anyway. Because then you can take your green Sharpie and color your clover, just like this one. And for one final step, you can, as I told you that the optional thing was the olive oil and the neat's foot oil. I've got some olive oil and neat's foot oil. I got the neat's foot oil at my local Orscheln's there in Bethany. They actually had this, and so for saddles and other kind of harnesses and stuff like that. This is the preferred. Olive oil will work just as well. We tested this yesterday to see the difference, and cooking oil will be about the same. So this one here we did with the neat's foot oil, and then this one here we did with the olive oil. And you really can't tell much of a difference between the two.
Hey, Bart.
Yep.
I thought the olive oil was preferable.
Oh, the olive oil is preferable. I mean, neat's foot, that's the premium, but olive oil is preferable over vegetable oil. If you have the choice of all three, go with the neat's foot. If you don't have
Olive oil.
Olive oil will work perfectly. Olive oil works perfect.
Because it said, I don't know where my packet is, but I said olive oil preferable.
Yep, olive oil works just great. But what I had these two things, because all the old timers, the old saddle makers, they use neat's foot oil. But I didn't figure anybody would have neat's foot oil, so I said olive oil, because I know a lot of new saddle makers, they use olive oil because it's cheaper and usually easier to get. So olive oil works just as good as neat's foot oil. Well, that is all I have time for. And like I say, if you have any questions or any problems, refer to that YouTube video that we have in the description. And if there's any other problems, you can send me a call or an email or something, and I'll see what we can do to help you out. So this is leather, kangaroo leather at camp. So you all have a good one and have a rest of a good camp. Take care.
Alyssa, you're pissing me off.
Mom, this is confusing. How are you trying to do it already? I'm trying to help her.
No, Ray's not.
Yeah, it's boring.
Bring your needle.
Like the old man is snoring.
I cannot do your shit for you while I'm at
Hey
work.
guys, are you guys ready to sing some songs? Anyone ready to sing a song?
No.
No? No one?
Does anyone
My
have any
group is.
favorite
They're
songs?
pumped up.
So I'm Caroline, and I was one of the counselors in the past years and this year. And then helping me sing is Casey.
I was also a counselor for 2 years now. All right, so does anyone have any favorite songs from camp, or do they know any songs?
You should do a song that's in like the back of the book, because I've never been to camp and I don't hardly know any of the camp songs.
Oh, can you name off one of those songs in the back of the book for us?
Kumbaya is in the back of the book, and Boom Chicka Boom.
Boom Chicka Boom. Caroline, you want to start Boom Chicka Boom?
Okay, are you guys ready? We're gonna start with Boom Chicka Boom, and then next we can do the Missouri 4-H song, if you guys know that one. You guys ready? Everyone turn on their mics so they can sing with us.
Hey, you ready, guys?
There you go.
Ready, Caroline?
I said a boom chicka boom.
Boom Chicka Boom.
I said a boom chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka rocka chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka rocka chicka boom.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
One more time.
One more time.
What style do you guys want to do?
Disco.
Country.
Country? I
Egyptian.
don't know any of those. How about Diva Girl style?
Diva Girl style.
Diva Girl
I said like a boom chicka boom.
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 I said like a boom chicka rocka chicka gag me with a spoon.
I said a boom chicka rocka chicka gag me with a spoon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
One more time.
One more time.
Motorcycle style.
Motorcycle style.
I said a broom chicka broom.
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 I said a broom chicka putt putt chicka broom.
I said a broom chicka putt chicka broom.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
One more time.
One more time.
4-H style.
4-H style.
I said a 4 chicka 4.
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 I said a 4 chicka H chicka 4.
I said a 4 chicka H.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. No more times.
No more times.
Okay, now we're gonna do the Missouri 4-H song. Casey, do you want to start us?
You can start it. I'll do the next one.
Okay. We're actually gonna do the 4-H spirit one first. I got that 4-H spirit
up in my head.
Where?
Up in my head.
Up in my head. I've got that 4-H spirit up in. Where? Up in
my head to stay.
I've got that 4-H
spirit.
Where? Down in my heart.
Down in my heart, I've got the 4-H spirit.
Where? Down
in my heart to stay.
I've I've got that 4-H
spirit out in my hands.
Out
in my hands, where out in my hands, I got the 4-H spirit out in my hands, where out in my hands to stay.
I've got that
4-H spirit
all over me. All over me. All over me. Got that
4-H spirit all over
me.
All
over
me.
to stay.
Okay, what one next?
I love mountain.
Do you know any country songs?
I had a little cheeky.
Moose.
Kumbaya.
Casey, which one do you want to do next?
Let's do Baby Shark.
Okay, you guys know this one?
Baby Shark, Baby Shark, Baby Shark.
Mama
Shark, yeah. Grandma Shark, Grandma Shark, Grandpa Shark, Grandma Shark, Grandma Shark, going swimming, going swimming, going swimming, Flopsy.
Swimming faster. Boston arm to do.
Not cool.
Lost
leg to do. Lost leg to do. Lost leg to do. Lost leg.
CPR
CPR.
It's not working. Angel Shark Okay.
That's a lot. Okay, this chat. Someone said do Little Chickie. Okay, we'll do the Missouri 4-H song.
Ready?
Yep.
I'm Missouri born
Missouri.
and when I die, I'll be Missouri. Rah, 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 Missouri.
I've
traveled far and I've traveled wide. Missouri, rah, 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 Missouri. Traveled east and I've traveled west.
Missouri is
Missouri.
Missouri 4-H.
What one do you guys like other than that one?
I had a little
try and do the Little Chickie one.
Bumblebee.
The Bumblebee song? Okay, we can do the Bumblebee song. Ready? I'm bringing home my baby Bumblebee.
Be so proud of me. I'm bringing home a baby Bumblebee. Ouch, it stung me.
I'm smacking my
baby Bumblebee.
My mom so proud of me.
Smashing up my baby Bumblebee.
It's all over me. I'm licking up baby Bumblebee. My mom is baby Bumblebee.
Oh,
my
that
baby.
feels so good.
I'm puking up my baby. Bumblebee.
My mommy feels
It's
bad.
me. I'm puking up my baby. Bumblebee.
Oh, it's all over.
All over. I'm sweeping up my hand. Bumblebee. Want my mommy to be
So proud of me.
Mopping up my
baby. Bumblebee.
Oh, it's in the mop. I'm ringing up.
I'm ringing up my baby Bumblebee. Want my mommy to be so proud of me. I'm ringing up my baby
Bye-bye,
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
There's no more Bumblebee.
Moose.
What one next? We'll do one more, guys. Maybe two.
The moose.
The moose. The moose.
Moose song?
Oh.
Okay.
Chicky.
You ready? There was a great big moose.
There was a great
Great
big
big
moose.
moose.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
There was a great big moose.
There was a great big moose.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
Sing away, away.
Sing away, away.
Wah, 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 wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Way, way,
Way, way.
wah, 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 wah. The moose's name was Fred.
The moose's name was
Miss
Fred.
Fred.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
The moose's name was Fred.
The moose's name was Fred.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
Sing away, away.
Sing away, away.
Wah, 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 wah.
Wah, 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 wah.
Way, way,
Way, way.
wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Drank his juice with care,
Drank his juice with care.
but he spilled some in his hair.
But he spilled some in his hair.
Drank his juice with care,
Drank his juice with care.
but he spilled some in his hair.
But he spilled some in his hair.
Sing away, away.
Sing away, away.
Wah, 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 wah.
Wah, 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 wah.
Way, way.
Way, way.
Wah, 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 wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
There's a sticky moose,
There was a sticky moose,
all covered in juice,
all covered in juice,
on the loose.
on the loose.
Okay, you guys want to do one more song?
Yes.
Yeah? What song do you guys want to
I don't know.
song? Do you guys know the Beaver one?
Look. The beaver.
Oh,
Beaver.
how about-
Like how Rachel's.
yeah.
Okay, ready?
That's what the Harris girls are saying too.
Beaver one, Beaver all. Let's all do the Beaver call. Beaver two, Beaver
Beaver
three.
3, let's all climb the beaver tree.
Beaver
Beaver
four,
4, Beaver 5, let's all do the beaver drive.
Beaver
Beaver
six,
6, Beaver 7,
go to Beaver
Beaver
heaven.
heaven.
Beaver eight,
Beaver 8,
nine,
Beaver
time.
9,
It's
it's Beaver time. Go Beaver, go Beaver, go Beaver, go Beaver.
Go Beaver.
I'm tempted to say you might want to shake your eyes. That is.
All right, girls, you have any more, or you want to call it on that?
I think we sang most of ours.
All right, that was awesome. It wouldn't be 4-H camp if we didn't have some songs. So great job, Casey and Caroline. Love seeing you guys. Let's give them a round of applause. Bravo. We love our counselors. So let's see. I think, Debbie, you're up next with the no-bake cookies. Debbie, are you ready to roll?
Okay, can you see me? Am I here?
I see you, Debbie.
Can you see me? And can
I see you, Debbie.
All
Yep.
right, great.
See ya. And we're hungry.
Oh, well, okay, I don't want to be the only thing between your lunch, but this is going to be a little snack to hold you over. I'm in my kitchen, obviously, and I chose to sit down, so I don't usually cook sitting down, but I wanted you to be able to see my workspace and everything. So I've got everything organized, which I hope you have too. In your book, page 7 is the recipe and directions. It's kind of I broke down the recipe for you to know what was coming in your camp bag. You have cocoa, and these are quick oats measured out for your recipe today. It would really help if everybody would mute their microphones so that you can hear. And if you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask that question. But these are recorded this morning, so if I say something and you're totally confused and I still don't answer your question, know that you can come back and watch this again. And those will be in those YouTube videos that will be posted. So let's get started. I am going to take a pretty simple recipe and break. Okay, is everybody muted? Okay. I'm going to take a pretty simple recipe called, I call it no-bake cookies. When I did a little research, I was thinking about how long I have eaten no-bake cookies. I'm really old, but in school lunches a few decades ago, they were serving no-bake cookies in the lunch, on the lunch menu. So I did a little research, and these are also called preacher cookies. Wonder why they're called preacher cookies. Are they blessed? So a little bit more research, and it turned out that many, many years ago, when the preachers traveled to visit their church members, they were on horseback. And in the Appalachian Mountains was an example that someone in the community saw the preacher coming, and they would send a message to the next neighbor, and with just simple ingredients that they had at home, they were able to have some fresh cookies or a treat for the minister or the preacher when he'd stop by. So that's why they're called preacher cookies. So and also they were popular in the Depression, again, because of the simple ingredients that most people had on hand. So let's start by talking about our ingredients. I mentioned to you that these are no-bake oats. And the reason why there is a reason for having the quick cook, I'm sorry, no bake, the quick cook oats is that they will work much better in your recipe and they will be more tender. There's 3 ways you can buy oats at the store. The old-fashioned, and let's take a look at how they might look differently. They take longer to cook. And if you can see this, they're pretty coarse. Let's look at the ones you're going to be using today. They've been chopped up more finely, so they're going to cook quicker. And then another option is steel cut oats. These are very coarse, and you can see that the steel cut oats are even different. So they each have a different purpose. They have protein in them as far as nutritional value, and they provide fiber in our diets, which is important. So I like oatmeal, so I keep a lot on hand. All right. You should have measuring equipment on hand. You've got measuring, oh, this looks different than this measuring cup. Can anybody unmute themselves and tell me what the 2 different cups are used for? They each, this one can measure 2 and this can measure 1.
One's
for
the
glass one is for wet ingredients and the other one is for dry ingredients.
Okay, you're exactly right. And if you may have learned something today. The glass provides us a way to see across, I'll be measuring milk in a minute, across the surface and make sure we're getting an exact measurement. There's also additional room for spillage, and you have a pouring spout. This is 1 cup when it's leveled. So the dry and liquid measure. Measuring spoons are different than our eating spoons or our tableware. So this is not an accurate measure. A lot of people say, well, it's a teaspoon. No, this is a teaspoon, what I say, and this is an accurate teaspoon. So make sure you have measuring equipment. And again, it's 1 tablespoon when it's level. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, let's get started. My directions tell you to, in the medium saucepan, okay, here's Debbie talking some more. I always have to anticipate how much volume my food will need or will be and create in a pan. So I have to have a pan larger than that, allowing for spillage and boil over, and you know, things will, as they boil, they might come up a little bit. Tells you on the bottom of the pan what size it is. This is a 2 quart. This will be plenty large enough for today. You may have pans in your kitchen that have a no-stick surface. Those require, if we use metal, it'll scratch that no-stick surface. So wooden spoons, for me, are a kitchen's essential tool. It doesn't, the handle doesn't get hot when I'm stirring. It could catch on fire, obviously, but it's not going to scratch this surface if I were using this. This is a skillet, it's not a pan. So I'm going to set it aside, but have that no stick surface I wanted to explain about. And I prefer a wooden spoon to stir with. This might be something for a larger batch or something, but I'm going to use my wooden spoon. You use whatever you have in your kitchen that's appropriate. All right, we were asked to combine the sugar. We have 1/2, hang on just a minute, make sure I have the recipe.
Debbie, how much sugar?
It's not on the paper. 1/2 cup and 2 tablespoons. Okay, so we've got our 1/2 cup measure. And I need a dinner knife or something flat. And I'm going to dip into my sugar container and then heaping 1/2 cup. I'm going to level it off. So I have a 1/2 cup. Do not level over the pan. You will get the extra in there. I'll take my 2 tablespoon measure. Tablespoon 1 is leveled into my saucepan. Tablespoon 2. Are we together? I'll put the lid back on the canister and put it back on the counter. The cocoa I would like for you to add next, and that's in one of your Ziploc bags.
How much sugar is it?
Look at your page 7. 1/2 plus.
It's not on.
Here, get all the paper.
Page does not say how much sugar.
Or milk.
Under household ingredients and equipment, number 1.
The sugar in this?
It was cut off and it's not there.
Under household ingredients, number 1, it should be 1/2 cup and 2 tablespoons white sugar. If that's missing, I'm sorry.
That's missing.
It sure is. Okay. Sometimes those fillable PDFs do funny things with us. I apologize. 1/2 cup sugar and 2 tablespoons sugar. Okay. Also, the amount of milk is not on there. So I will tell you that. Let's do that now while we're together. You need 1/4 cup milk. Let's go ahead and measure that. In your glass measuring cup, you're going to.
How much do we put milk in our glass measuring cup?
Would someone tell Corey? I believe it's Corey.
1 1/4. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for helping. The surface of a liquid is not flat all the way across. There's a dip in the middle, the meniscus, and you need to be able to see across the surface of the liquid to see where the depth is, because that's your accurate measure. My measuring cup is hard to read at the 4th, so I'm just showing you what you have to do to get it level. Okay.
How much sugar again?
Someone help her out. 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons sugar.
We have one Best by June 9th. Can we still use it?
Taste it, or smell it. I won't tell you for sure, but I would say it's okay.
Okay.
How much milk?
We put 1 1/4 in.
The milk is 1/4 cup. Okay.
Oh,
If I-
ours is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's all it says on our glass.
Well, I think your adult there would help you. I hope there's someone there that can help you. I'm going,
15.
okay. Campers, I want to move on, and as I said at the beginning, this is going to be recorded, so if you miss something, I don't want you to miss it, but we need to go on so we can get through. Remember, we need to eat these today, and I'm going to be hungry for lunch too. Okay, so we have 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons sugar in the bowl. I have my 4th cup milk that's going in, and I have my cocoa. I also need butter. Let's talk about the butter while you're catching up with me. I'm going to stir that for just a minute. I cook with butter. I eat butter. I sometimes have margarine, but I typically have this in my refrigerator. It is an animal fat. Margarine is a vegetable fat. And margarine can come in 2 forms. It can be in your tub, that's kind of a soft margarine, and then which has a lot of oil in it, and it can be in the stick form. and I didn't specify in this recipe, but I'm guessing that if you use the stick margarine and the stick butter, it's going to work well when it cools. It may take a little, you might have to put your mixture, your cookies in the refrigerator to cool. The reason why I'm saying that, this is kind of like making candy. You're cooking it on the stove, and then when it cools back down, the solid fat helps cool, and it helps to make it a harder or more solid cookie or candy. Okay, so butter, margarine, we use those terms interchangeably. This stick contains 8 tablespoons. It's a half a cup. My recipe calls for 4 tablespoons. Somebody has their hand up. Thank you for raising your hand.
Is this how much we need?
Yes, you're ahead of me. You got it. Look on the side of your
Cut it up
pepper.
to make sure. And so we have like everything
Corey,
ready.
Corey, it's okay. You don't have to cut it up.
Okay.
Corey, you don't have to cut it up. Look at the side of the wrapper.
Yeah.
See
It
those
says
marks?
Yep, I see it.
Yeah, isn't that handy?
4 tablespoons equals 1 1/4 cup.
So I'm going to take the knife and cut this stick exactly in half, and that's 4 tablespoons. Thank you, Corey, for helping us explain that. And then just carefully, oh, you know what? I'm going to wrap this back up and do something I should have done several minutes ago. My hands, I know they're clean, but I'm going to remind you, I hope you washed your hands before you got started. I have some soapy water over here. I have dish soap at my sink. Let's dry them. Cardinal rule of cooking. Always make sure things are clean. We'll put that dirty cup in the sink. I ended up wearing an apron today because I don't want to get my camp shirt messy. I'm going to drop this in the saucepan now. And that's for trash. Doesn't look like much yet, does it? Okay. So we're only putting sugar, milk, butter, and cocoa. My stove is behind me, and I use gas. That's so I'm going to turn that on. And I hope you have an adult close by. The pan should be centered over, whether it's the electrical element or whether it's your gas burner. And I'm going to stir this.
What are you turning it to?
I would do medium high if you have words describing.
Okay,
I don't know
because
if you can see my bird.
Like 5, 6, 7. And then
What's the top?
8 high. Here, I'll show you. Never mind.
Oh, if I've got to help? Okay, great.
Ours is like white and it doesn't look like yours, so I would say ours is a gas.
Okay.
Oh, it's
I'm
not
going
a
to
gas.
Is it electric?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have a flame, it's gas. If you don't, it's electric. Okay, I'm going to let each of you. Okay. Mute yourself until you have a question. I'm going to talk about what cocoa is. Not the same as your baking chocolate. It's the powder. It's been dehydrated. So you have just a powder, and you can do some substitutions when you're cooking. There's ways that you can substitute this for the baking chocolate with added some butter. You might look that up. You can make hot cocoa with this, but it's a baking consistency. It's called cocoa. Available in your stores. If you don't have any at home, it's kind of handy to have. And this would be something, remember I talked about the history of the no-bake or the preacher cookies? This is something that for me growing up, we always had it in the kitchen, and my mom would cook with it all the time and make fudge and different things. So it's a great staple. All right, I'm going to stir this occasionally. You notice I'm talking. I'm going to try to. Okay, it should be changing, and you're going to stir and watch this. Have you noticed any bubbles showing up yet? When the bubbles start breaking at the surface, watch it and then kind of keep stirring occasionally. It will start bubbling around the edges first. We want to continue. We want to stir. And let me tell you something else. Cooking is an art, but it's also science. And as you start learning about these different ways, different foods that you're preparing, water boils at 212, everything boils at 212, but the concentration of sugar or fat can increase that temperature beyond 212 degrees. So what I've got here is a sugar combination, so it can get really hot, and if it splashes on you, oils or sugar, it's going to stick to you. It's going to be really a harmful burn. And it was very hurt. So that's why I wanted an adult present, just to help you with this, to keep you safe. I'm going to continue stirring this. The recipe says to let this boil for 1.5 minutes. Really important that you do that accurately. So I'm going to set my timer for 1.5 minutes, which is 90 seconds. Or 1:30, whatever your timer shows you. Stir this, it keeps bubbling.
That's so horrible.
Is your 1:30 seconds up?
We are just gonna wait till yours goes off.
Mine is done. I have a wooden board that I'm setting down here so it doesn't damage my countertop or my tabletop.
Ours never bubbled.
When it starts bubbling, then you start your timer.
Oh.
I'm going to wait a few minutes till everybody kind of catches up. While I'm waiting, and if you are caught up, I ask you to have something to put the cookies on to cool. These silicone baking sheets are wonderful. I never have to grease a cookie sheet again. They withstand the heat in the oven and things will not stick to them. So that is one option. If you have wax paper in your home, that's a great thing to put cookies on to cool. So that could be another option. if you didn't have either of those, even just putting it on a cookie sheet, and if you have an adult there, if this is what you are going to cool them on, you might put just a little bit of butter on them or something so they won't stick, but there's butter in here. So I'm going to use my silicone cookie sheets. And let me tell you a secret. You can find this recipe for no-bake cookies and a lot of resources. This is one I just thought would be simple for us. We're going to be putting some vanilla in this in just a minute. You can also add some peanut butter if you're not sensitive to it, or the people that would be eating the cookies, you want to make sure that they're not sensitive to peanut butter, but that would add more nutrition to it. So, and I cut this recipe in half. It was would make 36 cookies, and I think on my instructions it was supposed to make 36 with the ingredients we have today. But I did cut it in half because it was going to take up too much room in your camp bag. When you got your camp bag, there was overflow in the white bag. So we had just a lot of great stuff to send home as you got ready for these different sessions that we're doing. And I'm going to say it again. I'm really glad you joined us in virtual camp. New adventure for all of us. Okay. I'm going to move forward. In your camp bag, this is 1.5 cups of the quick cooking oats. So you can know that it's already been measured. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in. Be careful, this plastic bag will melt if you get it touched up to the hot pan. It also needs some vanilla. Stir this up just a little bit. Okay. And this is really more of a candy rather than a cookie, but we call it a cookie. Vanilla just adds, it brings out the flavor in our foods. And you will need 1/2 teaspoon. Let me finish with this, and I'll answer your question, Corey. I have just a little extra bowl. Instead of measuring over the pan, I'm going to measure over this. This is real easy to get this to spill. I'll get the handle out of my face. So I'm measuring 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla over something else. Oh, look there. My hand got shaky and I ended up spilling. Well, the extra's here and not in my food that I'm making. That's really important habit to get into, to measure over something else rather than the mixture. All right. Stirring vanilla, stirring the quick oats. If you wanted to put peanut butter in, now would be the time to do that.
Wait, somebody said it.
Corey, did you get your question answered?
No.
What's your question?
Can you repeat the steps? Because ours just got done. You put vanilla in and then the oats.
You ready to put the vanilla?
Mm-hmm. How much?
1/2 teaspoon. Measure over something else, and then you can just know that what's in the bag is the correct amount. I measured it out for you already.
Now hold it over. Don't hold it over that.
The Murphy kids asked, how much peanut butter do you put in?
Oh, good question. I would put in
1.5.
How about 1/4 cup? 1/4 cup. This is a small recipe.
Do we put the whole bag in?
Yes. Now, this obviously was hot when it was being prepared, and it's going to take a while to cool off. So you won't get to eat these just right away, but they'll cool off pretty quickly. So I'm going to start putting these out, and I ask you to get just a tablespoon or serving spoon, and let's see. I'm going to take a knife, dinner knife, and I've got a serving spoon, and I'm going to drop them by spoonfuls. And I'll use the knife to kind of push it off. You guys are going to laugh at this, but you know these cookies are also called cow patty cookies. I wonder why. Anybody have an idea?
Because they look like cow patties?
Oh, you are so, 4-Hers are so smart. Yes, yes. And it's really, I guess these are calf patties and not cow. Mine are small. I guess if you take the whole thing and make one great big pile, it might look close to something you see in the pasture. So see how they're just, okay, so here's how they're setting up. And I'm just putting that's about the size I'm making. You know, I didn't even ask, do you guys like no-bake cookies? You can unmute and tell me yes or no. Everybody, is there anybody?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yeah.
We love
Yes,
it. It's awesome. I'm eating something.
Okay. We've got about I think we've got about 12, 13 minutes left in our morning session.
Deborah?
And yes,
I have a question.
I'm listening.
Do we have to put peanut butter in? Because I
No.
don't like peanut butter.
Nope, that's the word that's in the recipe. It says optional, and that means that's your choice.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Oh, campers, don't forget if you were missing something from your camper bag that you signed up for, a session that you ended up not seeing the supplies that you needed, please contact your 4-H staff. I sent emails to families yesterday asking if they would respond to that email if they're missing something, and we will get that to you. Remember, everything's recorded, so you may not have it today, but you'll be having those things that you're missing, so you can go to the YouTube videos. All right. I'm going to finish putting mine out on. So I'm probably going to get 12, 13 or 14 cookies, and you know, it depends on the size you're making. This is a small recipe. But I hope I've shared some basic cooking skills with you and maybe explain some things that you might not have understood before when you're cooking. So let's go back over what we've done and let me ask you some questions. Raise your hand, or maybe, how about somebody start first and tell me something new you learned in this cooking lesson today.
That there's cocoa and no-bake cookies.
So cocoa is a chocolate ingredient that is easy to keep on the shelf, and it makes things chocolatey. It's the powder. Thank you. That's a good thing to know. What else did you learn today?
I learned that they taste good.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I learned how to bring something to a boil.
Cool. Something else out there you learned?
about the different kind of oatmeals.
Yeah, there you go. I hope you guys like oatmeal. That's kind of one of my favorite breakfasts anymore. Did you know how many tablespoons were in a stick of butter? Is that something new?
8. There's 8.
There are 8. That's right.
There's 8.
What's the first thing we do when we start cooking and working in the
Wash our
kitchen?
hands.
Yep. You saw my mistake. You know what? In 4-H, I love our motto, learn by doing and make the best better. And when you make a mistake, we just, it's a happy lesson. It's like, okay, I'll remember to do that next time. So it's making mistakes is just part of the process of learning. We like to eliminate them in the beginning so we have everything ready and we understand, but that's how we learn. What else did you learn? Oh, how about the history of the no-bake cookies? Preacher cookies?
We learned the history of no-bake cookies.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see you eating them. Awesome. Very good. Are yours good, Aislinn? All right. Is Ledger stealing yours? Okay. All right, campers, thanks for joining. And I'm going to let Sean take over if there's any closing. How about everybody hold up your tray of cookies? And maybe somebody out there can take a picture of our screens. Everybody holding up their cookies?
I can't hold up mine.
Okay, don't hold it. If you can.
We picked up our cookies and put them in a box.
I got mine. Mine's already ready to pick
Oh,
up.
they're over here.
Man, I'm ready to eat. I don't know about you guys.
Get in here.
Nice job. It's not bad for a quick snack, Debbie.
Oh, you know what? I'm always up for quick snacks and cooking. So talk to you later. Thanks, Sean.
That's right. Good job, guys. Good job, Debbie. Okay, guys, so that wraps up our morning session. So this afternoon, we're going to see you back at 1 o'clock. We have Libby Endicott. She's one of our counselors. She's going to be doing some activities with you guys first. And then you guys know everybody's been making masks. So Caitlin, another of our counselors, is going to talk to you guys and teach you how to make masks out of T-shirts. So you will need an old T-shirt you don't mind cutting up and some scissors. And then optional would be glue and a coffee filter. Those are optional, but for sure you need your T-shirt and your scissors for the afternoon, and you'll make your own mask. And then April's going to be doing the color scavenger hunt. You'll need your top secret envelope from your packet. So everybody should have one of those. So make sure to have that. And then I'm excited about this. And actually this is going to be between the two sessions. We're going to do the animal scavenger hunt. So be thinking about what animal you want to see. I'm excited to see what animals you guys have.
Animal?
Yes, animal scavenger hunt.
It's show and tell. Show and tell.
Okay, I said animal scavenger hunt. Animal show and tell. Thank you, Jonas. But an animal scavenger hunt would be fun. You got to admit, like you guys come back with like turtles and snakes and who knows what. So, yes, animal show and tell. So yes, I'm excited to see what you guys have for that. So on that note, I want to see when we come back from lunch, I want to hear a couple, not a ton, but a couple animal jokes. If a couple people want to come up with an animal joke, we'd love to hear it. So, all right, staff or kids, anybody have any questions or comments, anything to add? All right, go get some lunch and we'll see you back at 1 o'clock. See you guys.
See ya.